Oh, well, welcome back, battlers of prostate cancer and the golf course. Welcome to another edition of Nubeqa Golf. Today we got more golf than Nubeqa. I'll tell you that when you start Nubeqa, you should have no testosterone, right? And my legs felt like they were um, nailed, pretty much tied to my chair when I got out. So that I've had that feeling for months. It's been decreasing the amount of gravity. But what I did a couple of weeks ago was I bought a pair of ankle weights for 1 pound. Just to start off because I'd been at a physical therapy just down the block, and the first they have a weight machine where you can push with your legs, and that 10 pounds seemed like a lot. Well, actually, you lift with your legs. It wraps around your ankles, and you lift with your um, quadriceps. So I said, okay, I'll just start with a pound, and it made a big difference. I don't feel as restricted, confined by my muscles. So yeah, I went out to my pitch and putt course, and I tried a couple of experiments. I like to play by myself, and there is a tournament coming up on the 11th, and there was a gentleman. There were a couple of people behind in front of me, so I let one guy pass, then I let another guy pass, and there was somebody behind me, and he wanted to know if he could play with me. And I said, I thought to myself, I really don't want to do this. But I got a tournament coming up, so I have to get used to playing with people. So it worked out pretty well for the first 6 or 7 holes. I was, pardon me, I was killing. I parred the first hole, uh, bogeyed, bogeyed the second hole, parred the third and fourth hole, and I got a birdie somewhere else along the line. But pretty much that was that's where it ended. I told this guy he could play with me if we didn't talk, and somewhere along the line he forgot about that, and he began playing well, and he started shooting before me, and he lost track of me. I don't see my scorecard. That's not good. Oh no, I can pretty much remember it because I got a 77. On par 3, that's not that great. What? Oh, I lost my card. Not good. I can pretty much remember the whole thing if I think of it right now. I can't. I keep scoring a different way. I keep on the top line. It's the total score. This is a blank card. I'm just going to fill this in for today. Top line is a blank score. Top line is total score. Second line is the number of times you hit your wedge, and third line is the number of time I use my putter. So I'm gonna try to remember pretty much what I did. Yeah, I remember the last 3 holes for sure. That was four. Oh no, that's in 4, 4. I lost my card. That sucks. I know I got a bogey on 10. And a par. I got a birdie somewhere along the line. So the first hole I parred, second hole I bogeyed, third hole I parred, third hole, fourth hole I parred, fifth. That was not good. That was my first bad hole. I think that was a 5. And that's when the blow up started. I know I got a 5 on I know 6 wasn't good. Well, the bottom line was I didn't go to my normal routine. I started to get tired as he played better, right? And I had to chase him. And I didn't get to rest each hole, and I started to play badly as I started to chase him. Then I told him what it was doing. I got a birdie somewhere along this line. 13 was a blow up hole. 13 I got a 7. I know that for sure. I got a par on 11. What was 12? 12 I shot over. Yeah. 12 was not good either. That was probably like a 5. 14. No, 15 I went past. I think I parred the last hole. That's what it was. And 14 I got a birdie along here somewhere. I know I birdied. It wasn't 7, that was for sure. It wasn't 8. I know it wasn't 8. Because I stuck 8 back there. What was a 5. And 9. 9 was pretty good. That's what I was thinking about. I met a guy who gave me a tip. He said, if a guy outdrives you by like 30 yards, it just means that you hit a 9 iron. He hits a 9 iron, and you just hit a 7. It doesn't matter what it takes you. What it took you to get to the hole doesn't go on the scorecard. It has no effect on your game. You just have to remember what you did with that. There's a birdie in there someplace. I can't quite remember. Maybe it was 14. I know it wasn't 10. It wasn't 11. I got a par on 11. I remember what at 5. I always shot 5 on 12. 13 was a disaster. 14 I got on the green. That 14's got to. I remember summing 10, 10, and 15. 10, 10. Now I remember 10, 10, 5 I went over. So that was a 4. 5 was my first bogey. So I had to, it couldn't have been 6. Because I made a decent play. Well, one way or the other, I got a 77 today, and the back was a disaster. Back was absolutely the worst. I got a 7 on the 13th. I parred only the 11th hole, but I got a bunch of pars today. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a birdie, 5, 6, and a birdie. So I shot a 77, but I had a couple of blow up holes that made it look kind of ugly. But if I played by myself today, I'm pretty sure I'd have gotten a much lower score. So, thing about it was on the first hole I parred because I didn't use a pitching wedge. I topped a bunch of balls today. A bunch of balls. But my putting saved me in the cup. I missed a bunch of putts by this much. But the putt, because I missed the line, because I had the line and missed the velocity, the putts were like this. They're gigantic. Because that's left me. I was telling the guy that was playing with me, velocity is more important than line because you're gonna pick out the line. You're gonna get close, right? But today I missed like 3 or 4 putts by a half an inch. Had they been like a half, the velocity just carried me for a couple of other putts. It was just greens were just that fast, and a couple of my shots. I always tell people you want to be. Don't worry about powering it, right? You want to be in front of the pin, not behind, because most of the trouble is behind the pin. Because most greens are built to catch your ball, right? If you go over, you're going over the peak, and then when you come back, you have a downhill shot, and that's going to be tough coming back one way or the other. So that's my Nubeqa in golf. You're going to get more golf on the days in which I play. Afterwards, today was a 7-hour day because I went where I play is right next to where the Mets play baseball. And the only day I could get out, which was a decent day, was today. And the day was opening day. It was a great day for baseball. But I got out there like 5 minutes after the first pitch, 10 minutes after the first pitch. And that means I finished right after the game was over. Because I warm up a little bit. That takes me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then I ran into a buddy after the game, and we talked. And then after my golf game, and we talked. I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in months. It's another 15, 20 minutes. And then on the way back, there was such a crowd. There was just people and people and people coming out of that, out of City Field. So I ran into a guy who was kind of waiting for it to thin out. And he had an extra beer, so he gave me his beer. And we talked. We talked for a good 45 minutes to an hour. So I could have been home an hour and a half ago, maybe 5:30, but it was bad timing. Next time I go out, it shouldn't be that bad. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's going to be good. It's going to be nice. And after that, next week after that is the 7th. I'm supposed to get my chemo. So I don't know if I played in practice for the tournament, which is 4 days after my chemo. I met a guy today. He said you probably won't want to do that. So I don't know. I play one way or the other. If I can't play, I don't play on Saturdays generally anyway. But if that's what this is all about. This is to show you what's going to happen to you after you have your. Because if you're taking Nubeqa, you're going to, well, I'm stage 4. I don't know what it is for everybody. My doctor was a little bit pissed at me because, a little bit, slightly annoyed because the last time a couple of months ago, he told me he wouldn't just spring chemo on me, all right? So that was in January. So I knew that in February he would tell me that I was going to have chemo. And that was a month after. And that was the 17th. It was St. Patrick's Day. But long story short, my blood pressure was too high for them to administer me my steroids. So it didn't happen. So the next week is going to be my first week. And after that, we'll get to the detail of that. Now, when I go to see my oncologist every, oh no, this is too long. Oh no, I had to do this over. Oh no.